Hello everybody who is watching out there, and welcome to the ToniSport Newsfeed. In today's video we will talk a little bit about active rear suspensions, ARS systems on touring cars. Most of the modern touring cars on the market, they come with the ARS system right in the box, or you can buy all the parts you need to convert your car to a car with an active rear suspension as a tuning part then. An active rear suspension can take a huge influence on the handling and on the pace and the performance of your car on the track, because it changes the amount of toe-in which we are using on the touring cars when the suspension gets compressed during accelerating or during cornering and stuff like that. We will take a look on a rear active suspension, and I will explain you how to set it up and what you can do with these different settings. So don't waste time, let's get the video started and hope that you will like it. Okay guys, first it is important to understand what we are talking about when we will continue now with this active rear suspension topic. An active rear suspension is easy to identify because all the cars have an extra toe link here in the rear section of the car, and these kind of rear steering blocks which we need to set up an ARS system. A lot of manufacturers, as I said before, they offer you the car with the ARS system in the kit, and others they will offer you some additional tuning parts which you can buy and install in your car to convert it from a standard suspension car to an ARS suspension car. And the ARS suspension is doing something really simple. When your suspension gets compressed under load, a car with a static toe will never change the amount of toe-in which you are using in the rear. So if you are running with a static amount of 3 degrees of toe-in on the rear of the touring car, this will not change when the suspension gets compressed. But when you are using an active rear suspension with a link, you then can adjust and take influence on the amount of toe-in which your car will produce under load when the suspension gets compressed. So maybe when you're going out of the corner on throttle and your car will always go down a little bit in the rear, with the right settings of your ARS, your rear toe can then maybe go from 3 degrees, a little bit more toe in, to maybe 3.5 or 3.6, 3.7 degrees of toe in, just as you have set it up your ARS system. This is the theory of an ARS system, and you can play around a lot with this amount of toe gain your rear suspension package will produce under load. And the setup of an ARS car is relatively easy to explain. I can show it here on my second car. You can see that the link is installed here on kind of a steering block in the rear, just like a steering arm in the front. And it goes directly here underneath of the bulkhead where it is fixed with a ball stud. Other manufacturers, they opted to go in a different way, where the link is mounted here down on the chassis plate. This depends on the whole chassis design. But now it is very easy to see that you can add or remove some shims here underneath of the block to take influence on the angle of your toe-in rod, which means that you can adjust the link. Maybe you can see it here in the camera. I just want to zoom in a little bit. I prepared this car here in the rear with different settings. On this side I used a 3mm shim, and on the other side I only used a 1mm shim. So there is a difference of 2mm shims from left to right for the video, and you can easily see that this link here is a little bit more straight, and the link on the other side, due to the less amount of shims, goes a little bit more upwards on the outside, which means that we have more kind of an angle here on the outside. And this means under compression now, when the suspension gets compressed, the side with less shims will produce more toe gain. This means when we are running 3 degrees of toe in on both sides, this side here, where I only have 1mm shim, will produce more toe gain, maybe from 3 to 4 degrees. And this one here, where I used more shims, will only go maybe from 3 to 3.2. We have to check this on the setup system later on. But I want to show you that it is really important in which angle you have positioned your tow rod, because this will be responsive for the amount of tow gain we have in the rear. And as more angle you have in the neutral position, when the car stands on its race tires on the ground, on your setup board, as more tow gain you will have, because your link will get dynamically shorter when the suspension gets compressed compared to the other side where the link is almost straight. The compression will be the same, but the link will not produce that much of an angle and will not shorten the link so much and will not pull this part more inwards. So this is how you can set it up, and the values on the setup system, they will show what I mean in the next sequence. So last but not least, let's check it on the setup system. Important before you set the values of tow, your car must be ready to go, so you have to check that the ride height is correct and that your camber is set, and everything else should be ready to go on the track. Now we will check the tow in settings. You can adjust the tow in with a turnbuckle wrench here on the turnbuckle, and then you can adjust the value you want to have. And in this example, I would say we will go with a value of 3 degrees of tow left and right. And as you can remember from the previous camera position, I have a different amount of shims here left and right. Here we have 1 millimeter and here 3 millimeter. So this link here on the right side is more angled and the link on the left side is more straight. And you can easily see in the next moment what the difference will be. On the right side of the car, you can now easily see that we have a value of 3 degrees of tow. And when you just concentrate your eyes here on the line, you can see what I will do now. I will compress the suspension, and you will see that we now have 3 degrees of tow in, and this will go and increase to almost 4. So you can see we are close to 4 degrees. So we will go from 3 to maybe 3.8. So we will have a tow gain of 0.8, almost of 1 degrees with these link setting. Now if you want to have less tow change, you have to add maybe a 1 millimeter shim here underneath the block, and then you will maybe only have half a degree of a tow change. But you can see it very good here now on the setup system that you have a big tow in gain. And now when we look on the other side, here you can see we also go with 3 degrees. And here I have installed 3 millimeter shims, so a lot more, and the link is more straight. And now you will see when I compress the suspension, we will only have a little bit of a tow gain. So it's maybe 0.3, maybe 0.3 maybe. This is a thing where you have to trust your eyes and your eye measuring, but you can see that it is not as much of a tow gain as we had on the other side. And this is the difference you can adjust with the amount of shims under the rear steering blocks when you are using an ARS system. And this is what it's all about. And with these different amounts of tow gains, you then will feel huge different feelings on the track. You can create a car which will have more stability on power. You can also get a car which will have more rotation in the apex of the corner, in the middle of the corner. And this is something you have to try by yourself. Not every car has the same likings. And you can also go out and run this active rear suspension with almost 0 tow gain when you adjust the links in the right way. But then you still will have the benefit of the additional weight in the rear. When you have a car where you have to install your ARS system separately, you install some more parts, so your rear will become a little bit more heavy. And even if you run with static tow, you will then have a rear section with more weight, which will help you in case of rotation and mid-corner steering. So these are some small things you can also do with an active rear suspension without playing too much with the toe gain. But these small steps between 0 toe gain and maybe toe gain of 1 degree, you can feel that immediately on the track, and you will have a car which feels absolutely different. So it is worth a try to play around with the active rear suspension. Okay guys, that's our video for today about active rear suspensions. I think it was very easy to see that an active rear suspension can be a huge benefit in several conditions out on the track where you want to gain that little kind of extra performance, a little bit more rotation, a little bit more steering, or sometimes only a little bit more stability when you are going on throttle. And you can achieve this in different ways, and working with the ARS system isn't as complicated as it maybe looks when you first start to get used to it. But when you know what you're doing and you try that at home and on the track, then you will be able to experiment a lot with these settings in the rear of the car. And I can only tell you from my experiences that setting up the ARS in a really good way for the track you are driving on can help you a lot and can give you a lot of confidence when you put your car down on the track. So go out and try it, and I hope that you liked our video today. If you have any questions, just comment below the video, and if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel until now, just do it. Subscribe and make sure that the bell is on. You will never miss a newsfeed video in the future. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, have a great day. Race with ToniSport. You will never race alone, and we see us in the next one. Goodbye.